Hi, in this lesson we're going to be talking a little bit about how to do research for your persuasive topic. This is going to be a two-part video. I'm going to walk you through some of the research ideas and how to navigate through the PHCC research databases and get started looking for persuasive topics. So let's get started. Now, to begin your research to identify what your persuasive topic would be, you're going to want to go to the Patrick Henry Community College website. The Patrick Henry Community College website is just the same website that you use in order to get into Blackboard. But instead of going to Blackboard, you're going to go into the library databases. How do you do that? Well, you go into Quick Links. Under Quick Links, you will see Leicester Library. So click on Leicester Library under Quick Links. Okay, so once you get to the Leicester Library web page, you can go ahead and scroll down it to find different information. For example, you could have some quick lookups where you can look up the library catalog. You could even use the dictionary, etc. Down here under Help, you can see Ask the Librarian. That's where you can chat with a reference librarian and they can help you to answer some questions or find some research associated with your topic. You can also actually contact our librarians. Barry Reynolds is our librarian, and Aileen Martin and Marcia Seaton are all with our library. Now, what I want us to do is spend a little time with the library databases. So instead of the basic library information landing page, you're going to click on Research Databases. So if you click on Research Databases, you will see a whole bunch of databases that the college has purchased for you to use to do collegiate research. All down through here are lots and lots and lots and lots of databases. Now the good news is the librarian has selected a number of very popular databases and put them at the top of the page. We're going to spend our time with a handful of these databases in order to identify what sort of topic we want to use for the persuasive speech. Now when you do your persuasive speech, what you're going to want to do is find a topic that you're passionately interested in and create an argument in favor of that topic. So what you want to do at this point is play around with these databases to find topics that are interesting to you, topics that you want to spend a little time with, topics that you don't mind reading some articles on or preparing an argument for. So as you go through the databases, think about what sparks your interest. Click on the things that seem cool to you or interesting to you, things that you think you might want to spend some time doing some research on or reading some articles about. Okay, so the first database that I want you to spend a little time looking at is one called Opposing Viewpoints in Context. So if you click on Opposing Viewpoints in Context, you will see a website or a website with a lot of different articles on a lot of different topics. Now a lot of the ones here that are shown in the picture are trending topics that are associated with sort of current events. And then we have a number of topics that are sort of arranged by, I guess, category or subject. Or you can literally just click on Browse Issues up at the top and you'll find hundreds of issues to explore. Okay? Now I was looking at a lot through these a little earlier today and I found one that seemed kind of interesting to me. It was on designer babies. And I thought, well, let me see what that's all about. So again, you can just kind of click through some of these. And if something is interesting to you, then click on it and see where it takes you. So if I click on Designer Babies, what you are going to find, and this is what all of the Opposing Viewpoints and Contexts will provide, is you'll get a basic article about what are designer babies, and you can click on that and get a large article on that. Okay, then you'll see, oops, let me get back to it. Okay, so you've got your basic article on designer babies, and then there are a number of featured viewpoints associated with designer babies. Maybe, see, there's 6 featured viewpoints, and then there are 115 basic viewpoints that can be taken. So if we look at this article, that it kind of seems interesting. It says the need to regulate designer babies. So that seems like that might be something that would be interesting to me. And here is an article that details why oversight is important to prevent the misuse of new reproductive technologies. So you see this nice little article about why you should regulate designer babies. You can maybe even look at a different article about the expert's opinion on guiding designer baby technology, etc. So you can just read a few articles to see if that perks your interest. Now, if you like an article, then you can download it, you can print it, you can save it, you can play around with it and sort of hang on to it. One of the coolest parts of working with these particular databases is that it gives you citation tools. Remember, if you are going to use an article in order to prepare a speech, then you need to cite that article, cite the author of that article in your speech. Now here, if you click on citation tools, you'll find here's the MLA citation for this particular article. Now if you don't want to use MLA, you can use APA if you'd like. What you want to do is after you've selected the type, you grab, you copy, select it, and paste it into a Word document for yourself. So these tools give you an opportunity to actually create your citation for your article. Okay, so play around with opposing viewpoints, find a few issues that kind of trip your trigger, kind of seem interesting to you, and write down some information. Now, another database that I would like for you to look at in order to mine it for ideas for a persuasive topic is one called Issues and Controversies. So let me get back to the research databases site, and let's choose Issues and Controversies. Okay, so Issues and Controversies. Issues and Controversies is a really neat database which gives you the pros and cons of each particular issue. Just like with opposing viewpoints, you can do a search by all topics A to Z, or you can look at it by subject. So if I'm looking through here at some of the different issues by subject, maybe family, teenagers, and community might be interesting. And if I'm looking through some of these articles, I might even see one that kind of dovetails with the other one that I was talking about earlier about designer babies, and it says gender selection of babies. So let's see what that's about. Now for gender selection of babies, we have a lot of different articles going down through here. I don't hit the one that's on gender selection of babies until the very bottom. It says gender selection of babies is, should parents be permitted to select the gender of their children? And it's like, oh yeah, that's a really good question for me to think about. So if I click on that, what I love about Issues and Controversies is it gives me a whole plethora of information. It gives an introduction to the topic. It provides me with some background for why this is an important issue. It gives me the pros and the cons for this particular issue. It will do a conclusion for the issue and give me a chronology. So I'm going to click through a couple of those things. So the introduction basically gives us some basic, simple information about the issue. The background, again, a nice article explaining why this is an important topic. the pros that say that gender selection should be permitted. This is saying that parents should be allowed to select the gender of their children. This is an article that is in favor of parents selecting the gender of their children. And then the cons, this is an article saying parents should not be permitted to select the gender of their children. The conclusion sort of weighs both of those things and talks about the ongoing debate. And what I really love about Issues and Controversies is it gives you a chronology. It tells you the key events that sort of inform this particular issue. For example, it talks about here in 1975, we were first able to separate male and female producing sperm so that gender selection was actually possible. And in 2003, there were some rules established in Britain and preventing people from using gender selection except to prevent disease, etc. So here's a nice little timeline of things. I also like Issues and Controversies because it gives you some great information for data. Here by the numbers, there's some interesting information about with the data. For example, internationally, the number of boys born to every 100 girls is 105 to 100 girls. But in China, where people are able to selectively abort children based upon wanting to avoid having girls, there are 117 boys born for every 100 girls. So here's some interesting sort of data in support of this particular issue. Now, a spotlight article on this would talk about how there's gender bias in sex selection in China and India, and how we're sort of going down a slippery slope with regard to gender selection. And here you're going to see some discussion questions that might prompt why this is an important topic. So, and just like with the other sources, where there's citation information that's provided that you can use to add to your own bibliography. So that's it for this particular lesson. I'm going to continue talking about the idea of looking at these databases for you to select your persuasive speech topic in the second part. Thanks.